which are meant for the car, which are built for the cars, and the cars can go 100 miles an hour. Right? What happened to the service? Is it a better service than before or not? Of course, better service. People can move 100 miles an hour. Right? So we put, sometimes the innovations need their own infrastructure. They cannot run on the existing infrastructure. But what happened to the horses? Horse buggies? Didn't they become better? Didn't they perform better on the new infrastructure? Of course, yes. Right? So once we have the new infrastructure, even the old buggies with the horses, they started running faster. So innovation comes, sometimes it needs its own infrastructure. So that's lesson number one we learned. Right? That when we're talking about this whole, I'll connect everything together in the end. Let's look at another example. The infrastructure of human voice. Right? What we were doing with the voice on phone, right? We had the telephone system, right? And we using it mainly for voice communication, right? And then we had this digital data infrastructure, right? And the innovation was the digitization, right? We could send the information communication through the network. So, but what was the technology at that time, if you guys remember? It was the modulation in the modem. So we used the data, we want to send the data, right? But we had the limited bandwidth, not limited bandwidth, we had the old copper lines, phone lines. So we had the old infrastructure, but we were trying to use the lines that were meant for something else to send a data information, internet on phone lines. Same example, similar example. It didn't work out well, right? And what eventually happened? We created separate data networks, right? And that was used for the internet to send your information, right? It didn't work well with the old copper lines. We end up creating new own infrastructure. But what happened to the voice? And the voice, when the voice came on the digital infrastructure, it became better. Now we have the phone systems working on the digital networks, and the voice is clear, and we have so many features in our phone system we could not even imagine through the old copper lines. Right? So again, we have the new infrastructure, and the old services are running on it, but it's become much better. Right? So that's another example. When we have the new infrastructure, the old services run in a much better, much more efficiency. So that's the inversion of the infrastructure. Right? So there is another example, but relating to the cryptos now, the infrastructure that we have for the banking system, right? It is not built for cryptos or the bitcoins. Bitcoin is the innovation, and we try to fit the cryptocurrencies, ICOs, how to buy, sell, make payments, all those through the existing infrastructure. By looking at those two previous examples, it's not going to work. It's an innovation. It needs its own infrastructure. that we are building now. Right? The Ethereum and all those platforms, Cardano and all those platforms, we are building that infrastructure the moment we are speaking now. What eventually will happen? The banking services, the payments, and the mortgage, everything will eventually run on the new platform. Right? That's going to happen. So again, the infrastructure inversion will happen. Right? The old services will run on the new infrastructure, which we call the cryptos and the blockchain and these new technologies. So let's say how we'll advance in the next couple of years. Right? But this is what it is. You talked about the infrastructure. This is the infrastructure we are dealing with: settlement and clearance. If I have to sell stocks, I have to deal with all of this. I have to transfer money to you. I cannot transfer you a cent without banks getting involved. I cannot. We cannot do peer-to-peer transactions. I cannot send you a single cent without how many systems and transactions it takes to just transfer like $1 to you. Unimaginable. That's old infrastructure. When everything will move into the digital era, we will be using the new platform, we'll be using the new infrastructure, and the old services that we have today, those will run on these crypto platforms in a much, much better and efficient way. Right? So that's the story. This is again. Now, going back to what I've said, right? In all this, where do I fit? What I'm doing with cryptos? It's a whole new world. It's a whole new money. You know, the money drives the whole world. And the money is changing. The money is changing. We are in a world where we are talking about making the money digital. This is monumental. This was happening last time, maybe like hundreds of years ago, when somebody invented paper. Okay, forget about the gold. This is the paper. This is the currency now. We are in the same era, similar era where we are moving from physical world to the digital world. Right? We will be buying, selling assets into the digital world. Right? But again, from the career point of view, we need to find out, okay, where do I fit in? Would I be trading digital assets? Would I be making platforms with digital assets? Would I be making exchanges with the digital platform? Right? So if we are interested in working in this area, what are the different technologies available? Right? Different platforms available. But I think one thing we get, that we are moving into digital. Our assets are going into a digital world, whether we are part of it or not. Right? So now I conclude my session. Sure.
I have a question. Due to the volatility of cryptocurrencies and relative lack of regulation of these current currencies, how long do you see that financial services firms such as banks, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley of the world will accept this? Because obviously today they don't accept it. And even I think the CEO of Goldman Sachs at one point blasted Bitcoin. Right? So what is your viewpoint on that and how long it will take?
So in my opinion, it's going to take at least 5 more years. That the massively produced digital assets are available to us. I can take my car, take my boat, my house, and sell it digitally, peer to peer, without no intermediary, no bank. So we're still there, right? The technology is moving much faster than the regulations and the business. So everybody else is in catch-up phase, but the technology is moving way, way faster. So business has to catch up. Regulation, they have to catch up. Yes, sir.
Where does Uncle Sam fit in?
Yeah, so Uncle Sam is thinking, this is the innovation. How do I deal with this? Right?
Actually,
So, sorry.
sorry. We're running out of time actually for presentation. So, inshallah, we'll have this
Yeah.
question answer afterwards.
Yeah,
like
hold on to the questions. We have a question answer session after the introduction session. So please hold on to the questions. At that time, you can ask the questions. Okay?
Okay, thank you
Jazakallah
for your time.
Yeah, break.
Yeah, two more.
You have break.
We have two more speakers. Maybe after that, we could have a break, right?
How are we doing the time? With the time?
We are I guess a little behind. So, yeah, I guess let's finish through the speakers, right?
Speakers, okay.
Yeah. So next, I'll call Brother Imran Siddiqui. He will present some materials on cloud technologies. Actually, this whole event we wanted to base on the disruptive technologies. So cloud is one of them. As we all know, most of the on-prem infrastructure are moving to cloud. So he will let us know how fast people are moving into cloud technologies and what are the advantages, disadvantages, adopting the technology.
That's okay. Yeah, I think if you can actually move that.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. So there's a lot of space on this side if you guys want to come in and sit over here. We've been here for some time now. As my understanding this is a professional event. So let's do something quick. Everybody stand up for a second. Introduce yourself, a person next to you, and tell them one thing that is good about you. All right, that's enough. Have a seat. So have a seat, everybody. People on the side. All right, let's stop talking about it. So I thought Brother Kamrul will introduce me with a joke. Instead of that, he just presented me. So Imran Siddiqui, one more thing I would say, because it's a networking event. You should have a goal before you leave today. At least connect to 10 people on LinkedIn, right? There's a potential of 50, 60 connections, right? But try at least 10 connections. I'm here on LinkedIn. I'm a vice president for cloud. They call me cloud champion also. Over 20 years of experience in various roles. Some of my software won awards. And I'm a hobbyist lecturer and industry speaker. Love to sit on a panel. Certain things that I wanted to talk about, but due to the time limitation, we're gonna cut it to smaller things. How many people know something about cloud? Raise your hands. Okay, so we got a good number over here. I wouldn't go into the detail of the cloud, like what it is, how you do it and all that, but rather, I believe that what is more important than adopting a technology is to look at it that how your organization is going to embrace it, and how what are the methodologies that you have to look at. We were talking about Coursera, we were talking about Udemy courses before. So anybody can go and pick up those courses and write a Hello World program and say, I know this, right? So when you say I know this and you're enthusiastic about it and you go to your management and say, I want to do cloud,